everybody. It's Monday, January 11th, and that means it's time for another episode of Chatting with Agnes and Cecilia. I'm one of your co-hosts, Cecilia Supp. I'm the principal and founder of Rogue Tulips Nonprofit Consulting and Association Management Services. My friend and co-host, Agnes Amos Coleman, can't be with us today. So, hi, Agnes. And on Agnes's behalf, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of our audience members around the world. Today, we are really excited as our guest to have Fern Carbonell, a wellness coach, and she is here as part of our January series on getting ready for 2021. So welcome, Fern, and would you like to say a few things about yourself?
Hello. Yes, I am a wellness coach to Midlife Women, and I am in Austin, Texas. Although I did move from Washington, D.C., where Cecilia is from. I moved here about 5 years ago.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
So a successful DC transplant. So that's always good to hear. And Fern and I have been friends for a number of years. We used to be in a mastermind group together when we first.
Long time ago
in a galaxy far, far away, as they say. So it's always fun to have Fern here. And Fern also works with us at Rogue Tulips sometimes, helping us out with projects. So, but today we're here to talk about Fern's wellness coaching that she does, and her focus is midlife women. And as we know, as women, we all tend to overextend ourselves, put others first, maybe just stress ourselves out a lot. And I know in the nonprofit profession specifically, since I have firsthand knowledge of that, it can be even more stressful sometimes. So Fern, what do you consider midlife for women, and what are some of the challenges we might face?
Yeah, so midlife is anywhere, from 45 on up. And yes, so our generation, we're Generation X, so we're like sandwiched between the boomers and the millennials, our children. So we've got responsibilities, caretaking responsibilities, and sometimes even we have grandchildren, like I have. So there's just a lot of responsibility, plus balancing our careers and our interests and activities. It's a lot of expectation. So we're not resting enough. We're not taking time out enough to take care of ourselves because we're just so spread so thin. So my advice is to just find that time, even if it's just a few minutes here and there throughout the day, but resting your mind and body is just so important for you to be able to keep, doing all the things that you want to do.
Well, and Fern, you've always been a very active professional throughout your career. So what generated your interest in becoming a wellness coach?
Oh, yeah. So my midlife, when I say midlife, in my case, it's when I hit perimenopause, and I didn't realize I was in perimenopause, but my body went through some huge changes that I was not expecting. And it just threw me off mentally, emotionally, and it was a really tough time for me to adjust. So my doctor thought I was just too young for perimenopause. So he excused that, and I should have questioned it because I know my body better than anybody else. So, if you're experiencing that and you go to the doctor and he says something a little different than what you are feeling, just question it. Be your own advocate. So I just went on this soul journey, just trying to figure out and regain balance in my body, with the weight gain and the depression and just, brain fog and everything that comes with it. But yeah, so now I want to help women through that. And it's so good to be able to just educate women on what to expect and how to care for their bodies as they age. Because we're all aging, but right now is a great time to just, create that foundation of healthy aging and active aging.
Well, that's true. We are all aging. And like I always say to people, it beats the alternative because every day above ground is a good day, in my opinion, even if you're having a bad one. So, and I think it's great that you've brought up the topic of perimenopause because so many women lack that knowledge and information about what does happen to our bodies. We live in a youth obsessed culture. in the United States. And so we don't get that information. We're told we need to be young, we need to look young, we need to act young, we need to feel young. And while I do believe in feeling young in spirit, we do have to take care of the body that houses that young spirit. And so I've heard some crazy things about menopause. Like a lot of people just call everything menopause, and they don't realize that that perimenopause period can last anywhere from 5 to 10 years.
That's
Before
correct.
you actually hit real menopause, which is different,
Yeah.
which can bring some relief once you hit real menopause.
Mm-hmm.
But what are some of the things that you might talk with somebody about? Let's say you get a new client, somebody comes to you and says, Fern, I'm ready, I want to learn, I want to take better care of myself. What are some of the things you might talk with them about?
Yeah, so I have the 4 pillars of healthy aging, which includes your relationship with your body, which is what I call body wisdom. And then there's nutrition, so just feeding your body with wholesome foods and avoiding anything processed, and just being mindful of your sugar intake. And then there's movement, however you like to move your body, just move it. If you're sitting at a desk all day, get a watch that reminds you to stand up and walk around for a few minutes. And then there's rest and relaxation to just make sure you're giving your body the downtime to re-energize itself, so you can just keep conquering the world. So
Well,
those are the 4 pillars that I like to talk about.
and so what about diet? I mean, what kind of diet suggestions might we take away today?
So, every body is different. So I will just generalize the advice that I give, and that is to just eat a lot of like colorful vegetables and fruits, and eat high fiber fruits and vegetables as well. So about 60 to 65% of your plate should be vegetables, and then maybe another 30% is protein, and then the final 10-15% would be some sort of fat. So that's how your plate would look. Eating high fiber foods cleanses your body and helps your gut better digest the food that you're taking in as well.
And those are great tips and advice on diet, because they're very practical too. I think we've all heard those things before about balanced meals and maybe cutting back on sugar and things like that. And you've talked a lot about movement. What are some of the spiritual aspects of midlife wellness?
Well, for me, I meditate, and that has just I've been meditating for over, I don't know, 13 years, and it has helped me just to be more present in the world, be present in whatever it is I'm doing, and just being more mindful of my actions. So meditation is something that also relaxes your body as well. And doing breathing exercises is good for you too. So and that doesn't take a long time. And your breath will if your mind is all over the place, you can return to your breath, slow it down until you feel your body just like all the tension just leaving your body. And that just takes a few minutes. But the breath is pretty powerful, because when your mind is active, or if your body is active, your mind will be active. If your mind is active, your body will be active. So breathing, bringing yourself back to your breath will just calm everything down.
So when it comes to working on these things and the kind of advice you give, like how long might you work with someone to get them on this path of midlife wellness?
Well, yes. So my programs are 6 sessions long, over a 12-week period. So for each session, we just cover one of those pillars, and discuss that. And then, they'll receive homework to make sure that they're making, the changes in their life that's going to benefit them. Maybe keep a journal of what they're eating, and what time they're eating, and how much they're eating and how are they feeling when they're eating, you know, because there's nothing worse than just like being stressed and eating at the same time, because your digestive system is not going to take that food very well and you're going to get a stomach cramp.
Yeah, I'm just kind of laughing because I am a classic emotional eater, and I've worked on it through my life. But it started probably my early teens, I guess, like it does for a lot of people. So yeah, there's a lot of days I just want to open a bag of potato chips and stick my head in it.
Oh, yeah.
But I
I
don't.
know those days.
We don't
Yeah.
even let potato chips in the house anymore. Real potato chips. We eat veggie chips instead.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, making change isn't going to happen overnight. It has to be really intentional, and you have to be really committed to yourself, and that's the radical self-care, is just putting yourself first, so
Yeah,
that you can better take care of others.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to talk over you, but you just reminded me of something. When I was working at an association, and we were in the staff room at a conference, and there were lots of like dessert things. And I had been, trying to change how I ate and try to get back on track. And one of my coworkers said to me, "Oh, come on, why don't you just cheat on your diet?" And I looked at him, I said, "Well, the only person I'm cheating is myself. I'm not getting anything over on anyone if I cheat on my diet, quote unquote, So that's the thing I think that a lot of us need to keep in mind. It's like you said, it's a promise you're making to yourself, and you're not going to be 100% successful every day.
Yeah. And then if you are going to go off your diet, don't make yourself feel bad for it. Don't even call it a cheat day. So there are some diets out there who say, have yourself a cheat day, make it a treat day, if you want, yeah, keep everything positive, so that, so if you want to have that piece of cake, treat yourself. It's not like you're going to eat a piece of cake every day, so it's all right to do that, because I think the more you deprive yourself of something, the more you're going to want it. So just treat yourself and have that piece of cake.
Well, and that's great advice, because, I try to do that. I use a phone app on my smartphone to track my eating every day. But I usually let myself have one little thing that I don't write down, like one small piece of chocolate or a cookie or something like that. And I really think like reading the servings on the back of the package startles you into awareness of what you're eating. So you'll eat okay, a thing I really like is Vienna fingers. And a serving of Vienna fingers is 2 cookies, and it's 150 calories. So it's like, okay, do I want to eat 6 of these? Probably not. I'll eat 1 or 2, and then that's it. But it's really very easy to have self-discipline when you realize you have control over it. I think people, I don't know what your views are on self-discipline, Fern, but I think a lot of people are kind of put off by it. Like, I don't have it. I can't develop it. It sounds intimidating.
And I think that just has to do with commitment, because if you haven't made that commitment to yourself, then your self-discipline won't be there. You have to want to do it. And that's where success will come in, is you have to be in it for yourself and not for anybody else. And, and think of the long-term effects too. If you're eating well now, if you're eating well now and you're moving your body, 90 years, when you're 90 years old, you're going to be a sprightly little thing, right? You hope,
You hope.
So yeah, just take care of yourself now.
Funny. Unless you're like me, I've already planned to buy all the things like, the hover round and the medical alert bracelet and the grabber and stuff. I mean, I'm prepared. It's like, if the body fails, my technology won't, hopefully.
Yeah, but it's so funny that you're prepared with that stuff.
I am totally prepared for that. In a chair lift, I got one of those chair lifts to go up the steps if I have to. I'm ready. I know what's out there. I know, But believe it or not, we are at the end of our time already. It goes really fast. So thank you so much for joining us, Fern. And for the men in our audience, while this may have focused on women to a certain extent, a lot of this advice Fern has applies equally to the men in our lives and in our world. So men, also take care of yourself in midlife. You have different challenges than we do. So Fern, what is your closing thought that you would like people to take away today? And then how can they get in touch with you if they'd like to follow up?
Yeah, so my closing thought is always please just make time for yourself. You know, take time for rest and relaxation, because that will benefit you in the long run. And you can reach me at lovenurturebloom.com. And if you're on Instagram, it's also Love Nurture Bloom. So I hope to see you there.
Oh, that's
Thank
great. Thank you,
you.
Fern. Love, nurture, bloom, and we'll have you back again. Thank you
Oh,
so
I'd
much
love
for
it.
joining us. So
Thank you for
great.
having
All
me.
right, everybody. Well, we have to go rogue for now, but we will be back next week with another episode. So we will see you then.